Spiritual blindness misleads oneself and others into error. Matthew 7:22-23. Many will say to me on that day, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name and in your name drive out demons and in your name perform many miracles? Then I will tell them plainly, I never knew you. Away from me, you evildoers. Jesus warns that outward works, no matter how impressive, cannot replace obedience from the heart. Spiritual blindness is the inability to truly know and follow Christ's will, even while claiming his name. Many may believe their religious acts prove faith, yet without a living relationship grounded in his commands, they walk in darkness. John 14:21 teaches that true love for Christ is shown by keeping his commands, which brings personal revelation from him. Those who ignore his words while performing works are blind to his true will. Matthew 15:14 warns that blind guides lead both themselves and their followers to destruction, showing how dangerous spiritual blindness is, not only for the individual, but for all they influence. 3. Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed from lack of knowledge. Because you have rejected knowledge, I also reject you as my priests. Because you have ignored the law of your God, I also will ignore your children. Rejecting God's truth brings personal and generational ruin. 4. Matthew 6:23. But if your eyes are unhealthy, your whole body will be full of darkness. If then the light within you is darkness, how great is that darkness? False light is the deepest and most dangerous darkness. 5. Matthew 23:24. You blind guides, you strain out a gnat but swallow a camel. Blind leaders focus on trivia while missing God's main truth. 6. Luke 6:39. Can the blind lead the blind? Will they not both fall into a pit? Both leader and follower perish without spiritual sight. 7. John 9:41. Jesus said, if you were blind, you would not be guilty of sin, but now that you claim you can see, your guilt remains. Claiming sight while rejecting truth increases guilt. 8. Romans 1:21. For although they knew God, they neither glorified him as God nor gave thanks to him, but their thinking became futile, and their foolish hearts were darkened. Refusing to honor God darkens the heart and corrupts thinking. 9. 1 Corinthians 3:18. Do not deceive yourselves. If any of you think you are wise by the standards of this age, you should become fools so that you may become wise. Worldly wisdom blinds. Humility opens the way to God's wisdom. 10. 2 Corinthians 4:4. The God of this age has blinded the minds of unbelievers, so that they cannot see the light of the gospel that displays the glory of Christ, who is the image of God. Satan blinds minds to hide Christ's glory. 11. Ephesians 4:18. They are darkened in their understanding and separated from the life of God because of the ignorance that is in them due to the hardening of their hearts. Hard hearts produce ignorance and separation from God. 12. 2 Thessalonians 2:10. And all the ways that wickedness deceives those who are perishing. They perish because they refuse to love the truth and so be saved. Rejecting truth invites fatal deception. 13. 1 John 2:11. But anyone who hates a brother or sister is in the darkness and walks around in the darkness. They do not know where they are going because the darkness has blinded them. Hatred blinds the soul and blocks God's direction. 14. Revelation 3:17. You say, I am rich. I have acquired wealth and do not need a thing. But you do not realize that you are wretched, pitiful, poor, blind, and naked. Self-reliance hides spiritual poverty and blindness. The root cause of this blindness is a heart that prefers self-will, pride, or tradition over God's truth. It misleads people into thinking God accepts them while they live in disobedience. Such blindness corrupts both teaching and example, leading to eternal loss unless there is repentance and a return to Christ's words. Below are 14 complete verses explaining the spiritual meaning of spiritual blindness misleads oneself and others into error, each followed by a short statement. 1. Proverbs 14:12. There is a way that appears to be right, but in the end, it leads to death. Self-deception feels right, but leads to destruction. 2. Isaiah 5:20. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Blindness reverses God's truth and corrupts moral judgment.